Well, I think Rudiger scraping the penalty spot when Reece James got sent off. That was
cynical.
I can't say the word, but that was an absolute joke. They were brilliant, Chelsea, second half. I actually thought Liverpool started the game superbly well. The intensity, the challenges, the will to run hard and close players down, and they looked really good in the opening 15, 20 minutes. I think Chelsea found the rhythm a little bit. The goal changed the game because it was a little bit against the run of play. Kai Havertz from a set piece, really, really good routine. Obviously from the training ground, near post running, swinging corner from Reece James, who started the season superbly well, apart from the red card. And it was a great execution of a header over into the far corner. Liverpool didn't have a man on the far post, so it was a good goal. Got back into the game at the end. Liverpool with the sending off and the penalty, dispatched for his 99th goal by Mo Salah. And I thought, game on, let's see what's going to happen. But you called it right, Sam. You said this is going to be a deep block. They're going to stick to task and they're going to make sure it's difficult for Liverpool to score another goal. And that's exactly what a very, very impressive grown-up performance that Chelsea did in the second half.
Obviously, Trevor's mentioned the opening goal of the game scored by Kai Havertz was a well-worked and off the training ground, straight out of Cobham, I think we said to Thomas Tuchel after the game. And he agreed, that's something that his assistants have worked on quite a lot over the course of the summer. But sometimes in these big games, set pieces are really important, aren't they?
Wow, set pieces change games. They win moments. That's, when you, as a player growing up, you know that. They go on about it all the time. Set pieces win football matches, and so many games are decided by them. And that's why I think now you're seeing more and more teams have set-piece coaches, set-piece routines, 100%. Bringing them into the game because they make a difference. There's so many different ways you can take a set-piece and so many different ways you can set up it, and you can constantly change it. You can always do something different. You can always create different ideas and different scenarios. So, it was look, that was, I wouldn't say it was the most thought-out, unbelievable set-piece, but it was just a great header. Just to glance it and just to get something. Yeah, I think the timing
and everything. There's obviously a little sign to Reece when the trigger is for Kai Havertz to do his reverse movement and to run into the space where he wants to run. The ball was perfect. The trajectory on the ball was low. It had a bit of pace on it, and the header was excellent. So it's one of them where, Jurgen Klopp would have looked at that and thought, should I have had a man on the far post? Because if you've got a man on the far post, as soon as that ball goes towards the near post, you're stepping inside that post, anything on target, looping into that far post, you're there. But really, if you're going to have a near post man and he just about beats him with that ball which Reece James put in, it's almost, that is kind of your Achilles heel with that setup. You're going to have a man missing on the far post.
It's funny you say that, Trev, because, sort of back in the day a little bit was you always had men on the post, didn't you? But now the modern way is the goalkeepers don't want people on the post and the manager don't want them because you can catch people offside from second phases and things like that. So it seems like it's changed. And I'm not sure how I am about it because when I was manager on a completely different level, but I always wanted someone covering your back post because I feel like that's a space that you can always get done by.
The way that you can deal with that, if you take, so you have a man on the near post, you have a man in the near post space, and then you have your markers and obviously the lads on the edge of the box and whoever you leave up. What you can do is, if you've got a man marking towards the far post, if the ball's not going to reach the area and they can clearly see the ball's going more shallow towards the near post, he can then step inside the post and be that man on the post as well. So you can almost get players to do two jobs depending on what the flight of the ball is. That's the way I would deal with that as a coach.
What did you think about Liverpool? Because it was quite telling towards the end of the game. They were looking for a bit of inspiration. Final 20 minutes, they seemed to have sort of run out of ideas, really. They didn't have enough shots on target and only drew a couple of saves from Edouard Mendy.
Yeah, but, Chelsea are just a machine when it comes to not conceding, like their organisation and their resilience. You see it last season when Tuchel come in, all of a sudden, bang, they just shut up shop and they just don't concede goals. So, as much as you say, Liverpool should have won the game and they're trying to find something, it's so...
I don't think they should have won the game, but I just wonder why they didn't turn to someone like Takumi Minamino, who's been an unused sub for 3 games now, or even Oxlade-Chamberlain. They didn't turn to the bench and bring him on. Yeah,
but is he going to change? Is he going to change the game in terms of what they had out there?
Well, they bought on Tsimikas. They bought on a left back.
I just feel like for me,
Robertson was struggling because he was only just back from injury. What I would say on that, Sam, is that, and I think I mentioned it to you off air. when you look at the players that they've got on the bench and the forward-thinking players, they'd already brought on Jota. Oxlade-Chamberlain, it's been a bit stop-start at Liverpool. They've not got that strength in depth of forward players to bring off the bench. So you'd look at the squad and say that they could probably do one or two more forward players. But also, we spoke about it during the game, especially the second half. Liverpool started having pop shots from about 20, 25 yards, and they were troubling Mendy in goal. I thought if they continue to do that, that's going to suck players out, and then it's can you get that little short, sharp 1-2s, third man runs to exploit that space. Liverpool stopped taking the shots, and I think that was a fundamental error in why they didn't get that breakthrough goal. So if the boys in the coaching staff at Liverpool look at it and they think, right, Henderson had one, and I think Virgil van Dijk had one, and maybe Fabinho, there was a few shots that went in and they were getting closer and closer. And you know what it's like, if you do a shooting drill from 25 yards, you won't always score, but eventually you're going to get one who's going to catch it perfectly, it's going to go in the top bins. Liverpool stopped doing that, and I think that was a real bad error that they did in the second half.
Which side's better equipped to win the title this season,
Chelsea.
Jamie?
Chelsea. They've got everything, right? They can defend, they can shut up shop, they're organised, they've got the manager, Lukaku up front. Look, let's not get away from the fact that Liverpool are a great side and they will be there or thereabouts. I just look at Chelsea's squad of players. I just think they've just got something more.
As a City man, Trevor, which team scared you more?
Just on top of that, I thought that Chelsea had the best chance of the game. I think it fell to Kovacic in the second half. And there was not a communications problem, there was a link-up problem between Romelu Lukaku and the midfield. He made 5 or 6 really good runs in behind where he didn't get in. Yeah. When that starts to click, I think they beat Liverpool, even with 10 men. And that's
Chelsea
how strong I look at Chelsea.
Chelsea should have been 2-0 up before half-time, Trevor, because there was a couple of opportunities where Havertz could have played the ball to Lukaku. There was another couple of situations where Mount could have slipped the ball in towards the big Belgium. Didn't quite happen. As a result of that, Chelsea declined those opportunities. And in those big games, you've got to take those opportunities, haven't you?
But he's brand new there, isn't he? So that communication, that kind of chemistry will get better. And a really good example of that is when you look at Bruno Fernandes and Pogba and their link up. How many times have you seen the ball coming into Pogba first time and he whips it round the corner, a bit of loop, a little bit of waz on it, over the centre halves, and Fernandes is timing his run perfectly. As soon as they get that link up properly with Lukaku and the midfield players, teams are in trouble.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.